Hi, this is Jim Ave again, and in this announcement, I'm going to go over two assignments: the progress reports and the courage and calling assignment. And I'll again combine this with both the 792A and 792C courses. So, first, talk about progress reports, which is Appendix C in the syllabus. Um, Really, what the purpose of the progress reports is to make sure that you are staying on track um, and demonstrating that you are working on your portfolio. So, what you're going to do is you're going to write, there's a couple different parts of your portfolio. Your first part is you're going to write 1 to 2 paragraphs telling me what you've done over the uh, several weeks to complete your portfolio assignment. So, for example, in your very first progress report, you turn in at the end of week 2, and then you will tell me what type of things did you do. Did you start writing your introduction? Were you reading about the different standards or domains? You actually wrote uh, your description for the um, standard. Maybe you located an artifact or two. So those type of things. You read some things. You're trying to learn more about the topic that you're going to be doing. What you really should be writing in there is you should be able to demonstrate that you've been working 3 to 6 hours per week working on your portfolio. So that's what you should be describing in your portfolio. The other thing you should describe is what are your goals that you have upcoming to satisfy the portfolio. So, like your first progress report, you'll give me goals for the next 2 weeks, and then in your second progress reports, how did you satisfy your goals in the previous weeks? All right, so that's one part of your progress report. The other part you need to provide is right here. Provide your hours that you have worked. So, how many hours did you work as a PE teacher or coach, as an athletic trainer? So I've given you the breakdowns of the different hours per week. So in progress report 1, you need to report the number of hours you worked during weeks 1 and 2. In progress report 2, you need to report the number of hours worked for weeks 3 through 6. In progress report 3, you need to report the number of hours you worked for weeks 7 through 10. Then in your final assignment of the year, the reflection paper, you'll report the number of hours you worked from weeks 11 through the end of the semester. I don't need any description there. Just tell me the number of hours. Week 1, I worked 12 hours. Whatever it is, just report it. I know some of you are going to work more than 9 hours. That's required for this course, but just let me know. It's kind of a WASC accreditation thing, so just report that to me. Again, I don't need any detail on what you did during your work. And the last part of your progress report is you're going to include your courage and calling reflection in your progress report. So I'm going to scroll down to this particular assignment so we can talk about that. So I came across this book recently and I've been reading it, and I found that it's really helpful as a person who thinks about what I do for a living and why I do what I do. And I agree with what the author is talking about in his book, talking about that God has given each one of us a vocation to do. It's not a career. It's something deeper than that. And I'm not going to spoil the material of Smith's book, but so you're going to write a reflection after you read the assigned chapter or chapters on what you've learned out of that chapter or chapters, if there's more than one chapter. Maybe, I mean, this is coming from a Christian worldview. And as the author even talks about, it doesn't necessarily just have to be for Christians. It can be of people of other faith traditions, or even a person who doesn't have a faith. But just tell me what you learned out of that particular chapter or chapters, and how can you specifically apply the material in your professional, even maybe even your personal life. So this is going to be a little bit more, give you more time to ponder some of these things, because since this class is about how you do your job and how you're meeting the standards, I thought this would be a good fit. And so here's the breakdown of how the chapters and in the assignment where you'll do your reflection. So your very first progress report that I was just talking about, you're just going to read chapter 1, and you're going to write 1 to 2 paragraphs telling me what you've learned through just that first paragraph, and again, how can you apply this information in your life. So that's important, the progress report. One, then in your first portfolio in September, you're going to reflect on chapters 2 and 3. Again, 1 to 2 paragraphs total. The same ideal. You're just trying to reflect, and I'll give you feedback after your progress report on that if I want a little bit more than what you've given me. So there's chapters 2 and 3 for your first portfolio. Then by progress report 2, you're going to read chapters 4 through 6, and again another 1 to 2 paragraphs in your second progress report. And for your professional portfolio number 2, you'll reflect over chapters 7 and 8. In progress report 3, you'll do chapters 8 through 10. Then in your final portfolio, it'll be the last 2 chapters of the book, chapters 11 and 12. Then, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next presentation, your reflection paper, you'll actually reflect on the entire book, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, you notice the point values, all those points will actually just be part of those other assignments, the progress reports and all that type of stuff. It's just blended into that. Just provided a breakout of what you should be doing for this courage and calling reflection assignment. I really hope that this text will be meaningful to you as you think about your career. This is, to me, one of the purposes of this particular class is to have you think about what you do and how you do it and how well you do it. And so, as a follower of Christ, I believe God has given us, each person, gifts and talents and strengths that we should be used to please Him and glorify Him. And I hope that each one of you are doing those things that God has made you to do. And so I hope this book will just give you just a little something to think about. And what I would suggest is that you just read a little bit at a time. It's the chapters are a little long, but they're not too long. But I think you just read a little bit at a time, maybe write down some notes after a couple of those sections, and reflect on what he's telling you about courage and your calling in your vocation. As always, if you have questions about any of the assignments, please post them in that Q&A forum, and I'll get back to you. And if that still doesn't help, let's talk on the phone or through email. Take care.